Hey everyone, welcome back to Oscar Buzz. It's Trevor here, and we are in the middle of the Cannes International Film Festival. But a couple of weeks ago, I was able to attend the Chicago Critics Film Festival, and I'll have a couple of videos about that coming up soon. But I was able to interview filmmaker Linh Tran of the upcoming film Waiting for the Light to Change. I absolutely loved this film. It takes place over the course of a week as a group of people in their mid-20s essentially just talk. The film pulls you into these characters' worlds and builds the connections and tensions between all of them so subtly but so well. It's just a fantastic piece of indie, slow, walk and talk type cinema, which, if you know anything about my film taste, is very much my vibe. This is one of my favorite films of the year, so I was very excited to speak to the writer-director Linh Tran. We had a few technical issues early on, so it might cut in at a weird spot, but this is my conversation with Linh Tran. Enjoy.
I was in grad school,
Okay,
so
nice.
I was a grad student about to be about to graduate. So I had been in school for like most of my life, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, for
And I
sure.
was like in that like, mid-20s, having quarter life crisis kind of period.
Yeah.
When I was making the movie, which is very much what it is about. And I'm very happy to see like some audience, especially people who are like around my age,
Mhm.
uh, appreciating what we talk about in the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely feels like even just like really close to that, like, college, like post-college experience for sure. Because I'm 17 right now, so I'm looking to go into college. So it's
Wow.
interesting just, looking at the two different sides of the spectrum, before and after
Mhm.
college. But my next question, I guess, is where did the funding come from for this? Because it's obviously very, very indie. So do you scrap together the funds?
So this is kind of like a special like project that was actually funded entirely by the school that we
Okay.
attended.
Wow.
So I went to DePaul University for a master for an MFA
Nice.
in film and TV, and they what when I was a freshman, they kicked off this project. It's called Indie Studio, and that the project pretty much is like the school giving a group of students, and like all the crew has to be students, like $15,000 to make a micro budget feature film,
Wow.
all student produced, and my year it was open up to grad students, so I applied. The process of this is like it's pretty straightforward. Like the school options some script, or you can like apply with your own script. When I was applying for it, I chose a different script, and
Oh, wow.
then whoever was in for the competition, they would pitch their vision for the project. And so I got the project. However, that was right when COVID just hit. That was like March or February of 2020. So it was everything got shut down. Our project was like pushed to the summer and then pushed back again. This was a totally different story. And by
Yeah.
the end of the year, we were like, okay, I guess this is not gonna work with like this amount of funding that we have. So we asked for like five more. And then we're like, okay, let's make something smaller and just let's write something that feels, I guess, urgent and honest and doable for $20,000 in COVID times.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
how it came about. Well, very thankful for the school. I think it's a very unique kind of opportunity that DePaul offers. So shout out to the school and James Choi, who actually led the crew, like all of us, through this process of making the feature. And he's the teacher in charge of this class. And he's also our EP.
Nice.
So
Nice.
yeah, it's been a lot of support. I
Yeah.
feel very lucky.
For sure, for sure. I mean, yeah, the film definitely it felt very personal. And so I'm curious because like whenever you see somebody writing a very personal project, how much of the characters did you feel were like extensions of different parts of yourself, or rather just like parts of people that you knew? Or
It is definitely a very personal project, and like because like this short span of time that we
Right.
had to like come out with script, we're like, okay, let's stick to what we know, like
Yeah.
what is of concern right now, like what do we think about most of the time. So I guess each of these three like women
Hmm.
in the movie, they are, I would say they are like parts of me, maybe like me in the past or like a little bit of me now combined with someone I know. And then that was like how the writing process took place. However, after we started casting, I wanted to open up the characters to like invite the actors to like come in and take charge, kind of like, let the characters be a little bit looser. And like we would interview the actors who apply and who eventually got cast. And then we would rewrite the script based on, what they're comfortable with, like sharing of their life. A lot of the dialogue, or like a lot of the monologues, are actually from the actors.
Oh, wow.
So it is also personal in that way. Like all these characters feels, I guess, like very lived in because they
Yeah.
are part of them, at least like are the actors and like the crew, or just like I guess how we saw ourselves in our 20s. Yeah.
For sure, yeah. No, that process kind of reminds me. I have it sitting up there, but like Linklater with like the Before trilogy and like collaborating with his actors. So was that part of the influence, and did you have any other like major influences on this film?
Um, I would I wasn't thinking of Linklater, but I'm very familiar with the Before trilogy. I love it so much. And I was like, now that I think about it, the process is like pretty much like that. Like we wrote
Yeah.
the script, and then what I did was I have the cast, we did like a table read of what the dialogue that was there and everything that was on paper, and then I just took away the script and they never got like a digital copy.
Oh,
And then
wow.
like a week of rehearsal where we would like sit and we would like improv the scenes, and I would like record it. I came back, I wrote it back into the script and then brought it back to them. And some of it we improv like on the spot on set. So yeah, I remember when I first, or like the second time I saw Before Sunset, I was like, damn, I can't believe this is scripted because it feels
Yeah.
so like lived in and natural.
Yeah.
And it's like something that I always like strive for because, I feel like, okay, as much as good a writer as I could possibly become, I don't see myself as like a very strong writer, but I feel like I'm only me, and it's probably going to be better to have like other people participate in the writing to
Hmm.
bring different personalities to these characters to make them more alive than just me trying to be like, or like me trying to speak from the perspectives of so many people. So yeah, I mean, in a way, that's what exactly what we did, like how Linklater wrote the Before trilogy. A lot of other influence comes from like very indie movies, like I don't know, like Hong Sang-soo movies, Eric
Yes.
Romer, very like talky, kind of moody. And Jim Jarmusch was
Mm.
much like an influence because all the I know kind of sulky beach vibe. I saw Stranger Than Paradise
Okay.
so many times before like writing and like shooting this movie. So that was very much it. With all the, like with all the black screens as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
a lot,
No.
a lot to learn from the masters.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm glad you brought up Hong Sang-soo because he's another one who definitely came to mind. Just a very like a melancholic, but like just walk and talk type of vibe. It was, yeah, definitely got that. So kind of just speaking on the budget briefly, like what were some of your biggest challenges with the budget? And did you also kind of feel like it helped you a bit having that type of constraint?
Absolutely. So we had 20K, and to be honest, because we had to like house the entire crew, because we didn't shoot in Chicago, the crew and myself, some of the cast members too. We were based in Chicago, but we shot it in Michigan. So we had to like
Okay.
provide housing to the cast and the crew. and we had to feed everybody like pretty much 3 meals a day for a month or so. So that's where most of the money like go to, because we're all like film students and we all like work for free on this project.
Yeah.
The the fact that we didn't have as much money just meant that we couldn't like shoot for 30 days or like shoot for like 2 months. We had like I think 14 or like 11 days in total of shooting. And because of that, like we had to find a way to make it work, make it good and make it work. And one of the results is like how everything is in one, almost everything is in one continuous take.
Yeah,
I mean, that's like I'm naturally like drawn to like slow cinema and like
absolutely.
that kind of pacing, but at the same time I'm like, okay, so because of this budget constraints we can execute this because we don't have any other choices.
Yeah.
And I think that turned out to be the best decisions that we made for the movie, because it would have been a vastly different movie if this was shot like traditionally, like with a lot of coverage. So yeah, sometimes limitation is liberation.
Yeah, yeah. I think you feel so much more of just like the genuinity of like everything, just like holding on them. So kind of just as a wrapping up, just to look forward. So at the time of recording right now, there's the WGA strike going on. So just curious, where do you see that going, I guess, forward for the film industry, but then also for you personally, with all of this stuff with the writers and everything?
Wow, that is a very big
It's a big
question.
question, I know, yeah.
I mean, it's very heartbreaking to
Yeah.
like read about stories of like writers who really like struggle to, pursue like their passion, and even when they have like their day job is writing for the studio, and they still have to keep like a second job or like a third job. That's just like a fucked up on a like very majorly fucked up.
Yeah.
And I fully support, because as creatives, it's like the peace of mind is so important,
Mhm.
like having that space to like create and feel secure about like one's life while creating. I mean, I fully support the strike. And I mean, hopefully, because I feel like we as like independent artists too, like we need that kind of support. And me myself, like that's all I hope for, like being able to support myself doing what I love. Unfortunately, it's not like a reality for most people working in film. And yeah, I mean, I think we are like, at least we are having the strike and like slowly kind of fighting for like a better like working environment and a better, like system for all of this. I know I feel like I'm rambling, but
No, no,
yeah.
100% though. Like I completely agree with everything you're saying. I mean, like the best art is created when, the artists are at peace. I mean, when, it was more livable to like afford apartments and stuff. That's when some of the best art was created, some of the best artists. So like no, I 1000% agree with you. And I'm, hoping just for all upcoming artists. I mean, I'm someone who wants to be a filmmaker, and like it's scary. You want to have a livable wage. So last question. Again, just looking into the future. Don't want to do that too much, and we can focus on the moment. But um, what would be your dream project if you thought of one? Just working with it, whether it's for like a particular actor, cinematographer, editor, or type of story, type of film, would be your dream project.
So I'm from Vietnam. And I was born and grew up in Vietnam, and I moved here when I was 18. And I recently just like spent 3 months like home in Vietnam, and there's so many like locations and like places that I feel very emotionally connected to, and I'm developing a few ideas. And like my dream is like hopefully in like 3 to 5 years I could shoot a feature in Vietnam with the funds from, I don't know, all over the place, and like have enough money to back the project to like make the production like feasible. and paying people like what they deserve,
Mhm.
and being able to create freely with the film that is set in like my grandparents, my parents' hometown. Because it's like a land that I just feel like, sometimes you go to places and you feel like, oh my God, I feel
Yeah.
like I belong here, or like I feel like I can effortlessly create like a sense of place for this place versus, somewhere else where you feel like a visitor, which is also a very valid standpoint, and like it's an experience to embrace as well. But yeah, it's always been my dream to shoot a movie in the countryside of Vietnam. I would say with an independent spirit, but with like sufficient fundings.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Strike the balance, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, I hope you get to make it. I think that would be incredible to see. But that is all I really have for you. So thank you so, so much for joining. It's been great talking with you.
Thank you so much for having me, and have a great day.
Yeah, you too. You too. All right, everyone, that was my conversation with Linh Tran. Hope you enjoyed it. And please go check out Waiting for the Light to Change when it comes out. I don't think it has a release date yet, but keep an eye on it because it is one of my favorite films of the year. I will be talking about it more and more as the year goes on as part of my favorites of the year because it's really, truly special. But that is it, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, stay safe and goodbye.